Android One generally is a program where we're trying to solve hardware, software, as well as connectivity. People are amazed to see a product of this quality at 6,000 rupees or 6,500 rupees. The quality of the hardware also, our partners got very right. Like all the phones have got very good reviews.
Caesar, thank you very much for speaking with us. So
Thanks,
tell us, you've been sort of leading the whole Android One effort in India. You're like a brand ambassador almost. How's the experience been so far?
It's been fantastic. We've, we launched on September 15th. We got huge reception. We started selling fairly soon after. The Micromax Canvas A1, which is one of their first Android One phone, has been #1 on Amazon since day one. Users are loving it. Now all of the OEMs are into physical retail. They'll roll out physical retail across India over the next few weeks, and reception's been very good. Right. Very happy.
Right. So the 3 things that you think you got right in Android One at this point, and then the 3 things that you think you didn't get right.
So I think we focused a lot on Android One. Android One generally is a program where we're trying to solve hardware, software, as well as connectivity for the next billion users, starting with India. On the hardware front, what we really got right was the overall experience. Right. It was really, if you use an Android One phone, it's fast, it's fluid, it doesn't slow down, it doesn't hang anywhere, right? We got that absolutely right. The quality of the hardware also, our partners got very right. Like all the phones have got very good reviews. Just people are amazed to see a product of this quality at 6,000 rupees or 6,500 rupees.
So prices.
So price and the quality. Yeah. The quality and the price we got absolutely right. I think what we need to do more on is we need more choices. So our partners want to bring more product into market with different cameras, different screen sizes. Users want a lot more of that. Users also want a lot more services that are optimized for India. We had a few services, Play Newsstand launched for Android One in India. Along with that, we announced that YouTube will be available offline. So we're working on bringing that to India fairly soon. But people obviously want more. So that's what we're working on.
Is that a response to an India kind of ask?
It's not so much an India ask. It's an ask. We've been thinking about how do we build the right services for the next billion users. That's in India, in Indonesia, in Mexico, Brazil, basically large parts of the world, where connectivity is still expensive. Connectivity is hard, and when people watch a video, often people watch video many times. So we want to enable people to be able to download that video, cache it, and then be able to play it as many times as they want.
Right.
And so it was an ask. It's a global ask.
Right. So when you look back at the whole effort so far, and maybe in future as well, how much time do you spend on components of the phone, or rather, which are the components that you spend the most time on, and is that in keeping with what a communication device should be?
Absolutely. So I think, look, in terms of time and effort, we're very focused on the hardware front right now. We've been
when you say hardware, you mean the computing part of the thing?
The physical hardware is what you're talking about, right? So what people care about are the screens, the quality of the screens. People care about the cameras. Photography is pretty important. Everybody wants to take photos of the family and kids. So we've been spending a lot of time on that.
So when you say quality of screens, you mean things like being able to see it in daylight and so on?
Exactly. Yeah. Being able to see it in daylight, the brightness, the resolution of the screen, just the clarity of the screen. I think that's on the hardware front. On the software front, overall experience, the speed of it, security. Android One phones also, Google is responsible for delivering the software build on this, which means we will be pushing updates to these phones. So your phone always keeps getting better. Like think about it, how many products do you know that actually get better after you've bought it, right? With Android One phones, these phones will be some of the first phones to receive the Android L update. We're working hard on that, and once they come, you imagine you've bought a phone and suddenly you get the latest version of the software on it.
So you're saying user experience and followed by camera. These are the 2 big areas.
User experience and hardware. I think camera is one of the parts of the
hardware. If you were to look ahead now, where do you think most of your focus could go?
I think we're focusing a lot on connectivity now. That's a much harder problem. A lot of users in India, people not just in India but across the next billion, don't have great access to connectivity. They don't understand the value of data. Data is mysteriously, is used mysteriously. Also, the way they buy data could possibly be improved. So we're looking at all those spaces, and we're working on this with all of our carrier partners, as well as other players in the ecosystem to think about how we can solve this. I mean, what you've seen so far of Android One is just the first part of the hardware bit. We've talked a little bit about the software experiences that we are bringing to these markets, And then connectivity is the next big area that we are working very hard on, and that over in 2015 we'll come and talk more about.
Right, Caesar. So I can't let you go without asking you about Chromebook, which you also run, right? So what's next on that? I mean, I have a friend, for instance, who's equipped his entire office with Chromebook, so he really bets on you guys. But he also wonders, you know, could there have been more ecosystem creation, particularly on the hardware side? You can't find a charger, for instance, that easily.
So I started Chromebooks and been running that too. Chromebooks are doing incredibly well, particularly among schools, education, and businesses. There's enormous amounts of hardware choice that's that's coming to market. In the next few months, we will see 10 to 15 new Chromebooks launch across. There are 9 OEM partners now who are all building Chromebooks. We've seen tremendous success with Chromebooks in the US, particularly in EDU enterprise segments, and US, UK. India, I think the hardware availability is still fairly limited, but we are working on this with our partners. And through 2015, we should see like much more hardware, high quality, better prices, lots of different choices.
Right. And is there one or two things that you are really fond about Chromebook, which you think distinguishes it from the rest of the?
I think the core philosophy behind Chromebooks is a computer that you don't have to worry about or think about or manage. Right. If you think about it, our computers today have become so hard to deal with. They're like little kids, right? You have to take care of them. So the simplicity of Chromebooks is very important. Security is another very big part of it, right? If you're running if you're running a small company, you typically don't have an IT department or somebody who can keep on installing antiviruses and checking and repairing a machine. Chromebooks, you don't have to worry about anything, right? You can take a Chromebook, give it to your kid or give it to your parents or give it to anyone who knows nothing about computers, and they'll be able to use it, right? This is much better than computers that you've seen for the last 30 years.
Right.
So that's what obviously I'm very excited about.
Right, and that's a good note to end on. Thank you so much, Caesar.
Thank you very much, Govindraj.
Thank you.